Welcome to The Project. The stakes were high as Anthony Albanese hopped on the blower with Donald Trump today. His mission to convince the unpredictable president to dish out a rare exemption, sparing Australia from his tariff rampage. Aussie hopes in his hands. The PM hit the phone hoping to do a deal on steel and aluminium tariffs. Albo coming away confident.
The US President agreed that an exemption was under consideration in the interests of both of our countries.
But moments later, the president threw a spanner in the works.
Without exceptions or exemptions, and that's all countries, no matter where it comes from, all countries.
Trump doubling down on the shock tariff announcement as he officially signed off on the deal that has Aussie pollies panicking.
Simplifying our tariffs on steel and aluminium, it's 25%.
But after a few tense moments, relief. Donald Trump calling Albo
Very fine man.
It was a very constructive and warm discussion.
The love fest taking a detour over Aussie Super Bowl champ Jordan Mailata.
I did point out that he was a South Sydney junior. It was very important.
Before getting back to business, Trump seemingly confirming the possible exemption.
We have a surplus with Australia, one of the few. And the reason is they buy a lot of airplanes. They are rather far away and they need lots of airplanes. And we actually have a surplus. I told him that's something that we will give great consideration to.
Those aeroplanes leading the entire country to breathe a sigh of relief as the PM turns his attention to signing the deal.
The Prime Minister deserves support in whatever measure is reasonably taken to see a reversal in the tariff.
What I envisage is continuing to respond diplomatically. That's how you get things done.
We're live from the lands of the Colin Nation, a big day of international investigation, so we thought we'd pull in one of the big guns. Pete Helliar is here. Pete, how would you have handled this very difficult call?
Probably just a quick Stormy Daniels joke and then down to business. Just to break the ice.
No, that's what happened with. That's what happened with Stormy Daniels, wasn't it? Quick down to business.
This is red hot.
Let's get this back on track, shall we? Let's go to the ABC's Matt Bevan. He's here with us to give us more actual details on the Trump call. Matt, this kind of seems a bit confused. Where exactly are we on this? Is it a done deal?
Well, no, it's not a done deal, but this is not all that unusual. In fact, something very similar happened last time Trump announced these tariffs back in 2018. Initially, he announced that there would be no exemptions to the tariffs and that nobody would be getting around them and everyone will be included. Malcolm Turnbull got on the phone to him a number of times over the following week, and 8 days after the tariff announcement was when Donald Trump confirmed that Australia would be getting an exemption from those tariffs. So we have to sort of wait a few days potentially, but it looks pretty promising given that both of them are, talking about, them considering it and enthusiastically looking at it, and that Albanese is a fine man and aeroplanes and that kind of thing. It all seems fairly positive.
As much as Albo probably listens to Pete Helliar about phone call strategy, any clues, any hints about how our Prime Minister would have gone into this call?
Well, I wouldn't have gone with the Stormy Daniels thing, Pete. I would have gone, you're putting the tariffs on. You're putting the tariffs on aluminium. Well, conveniently in Australia, we make something called aluminium, which is hugely different. Please don't tariff it. But anyway, look, I think he would have been looking to try and focus on the things that they could talk about, make some sort of a relationship together, bring up the Super Bowl, talk through, make some sort of a connection with Donald Trump, because that's really what Donald Trump is all about. He's all about interpersonal connections, and whether he likes you or not plays a really big role in whether or not you get what you want from him.
And he's not known for flip-flopping, changing his mind on matters like this. We've got an election just months away. Is this how big a political win, if this comes off, is this for Albanese?
Well, I think the key thing for Anthony Albanese is, he's walking a tightrope here where he doesn't want to endorse a lot of Donald Trump's policies because he's worried that would potentially make him unpopular with the Labor Party base in in Australia. So he doesn't want to go all in backing, Trump's Gaza plan, that kind of thing. He said the other day, I'm supportive of a two-state solution. Make of that what you will. So he doesn't want to endorse Donald Trump, but he also doesn't want to alienate Donald Trump, because everyone, I think, in Australia understands that our relationship with the United States is extremely important, particularly on security grounds. And so he wants to be able to work with Donald Trump without actually saying that he agrees with everything that Donald Trump says. And this is a good step towards that, I think, because if this phone call blew up totally, then Peter Dutton could potentially make an argument that, look, it's very important that we get along with Donald Trump and I've got a better chance of doing it. But now that Donald Trump is calling Anthony Albanese a very fine man, that sounds pretty positive for that relationship.
Wonder what they're calling their WhatsApp group. Ooh. Matt, thanks for your time.
Thanks, guys.
Well, guys, there's many ways to communicate with a politician. Obviously, you can call one. So let's get up to Queensland to see this. Health Minister Tom Nichols held a press conference at a hospital, but those hard-hitting journos were the least of his worries.
Beg your pardon?
I'm here from Wetland Plains. I've just 20 minutes ago seen Donald Trump sign his life away for the tariffs and the tariff.
Right, yes.
Specifically...
So you're not a journalist?
Oh, no, I'm not.
Are you just walking past? Oh, yeah, OK.
But what does it mean for Queensland and Queensland jobs and Queensland security? What's your predictions?
Well,
There you go. That's actually how I got this job here. I walked past the presser, asked a question, and bang, Helliar was out of a job.
Sign her up. Let's get some more news now. And GPs are calling for bipartisan support to expand bulk billing incentives ahead of the federal election to allow Aussies under 35 to visit the doctor for free. The Royal Australia College of GPs says it would deliver 6.2 million more bulk billed consults each year and help the health system long term.
When someone can't get in to see me as their GP, they're more likely to get sicker, their health gets worse, and then they're more likely to use hospitals and emergency departments, and that's more costly.
South Australia's shop union is taking McDonald's to the Fair Work Commission over its pay rates, conditions and safety protocols. The case will decide whether young workers at Macca's franchises can bargain together. The fast food giant is fighting the move, claiming franchises don't have common interests.
The workers in Adelaide and stores around Adelaide want to bargain together. Everything in McDonald's stores is exactly the same. Everything costs the same. Everything tastes the same. Those workers deserve to be able to bargain together.
And it seems young Aussies are clueless when it comes to maintaining their cars. A new survey has revealed that nearly 43% of 18 to 24-year-olds lack confidence when it comes to changing or checking the oil. Who can change their oil? More than a third say they're unsure of what to do if their car breaks down. Almost 39% would be stumped if the car doesn't start.
Oh my God.
Call mum or dad, don't you?
I reckon my dad did this survey. This is right on.
Do you know how to change your oil? Like, one thing to check your oil, but changing your oil is a big deal.
Could give it a go. I know the oil would have to come out of the car. And
do you drive manual?
I can drive a manual, yes I can. Actually. Sorry.
Can you?
I can. But do you know what? So I'm actually quite bad with cars, but I want to, well, okay, so when I go to the mechanic, and I've done this before, I put on high vis, this is true by the way, and like work boots to pretend so the mechanics think I'm like a tradie, salt of the earth guy who knows about cars and won't rip me off.
They see your hands and they know you're lying.
No, but I wear gloves to try to get it.
What if I ask you a question?
Well, once I try to get ahead of it, so I say things. So I'm like, oh, it's bad on fuel.
Convincing, very convincing.
I think I needed
they're like, it's an electric car, and I'm like, I'm in trouble. I don't know.
Did you go and buy the high vis vest for this?
I borrowed it off my mate who's an electrician. I guarantee someone out there is watching this is going to go, I'm going to try that.
No, just sign up for roadside assistance. Be smart. Time for a break. We'll see you soon.
Welcome back. You're watching The Project.
Vital supplies are finally getting through to flood-stricken areas of North Queensland as a crucial bridge on the Bruce Highway finally reopens to heavy vehicles. Torrential rain continues to fall. The Burdekin Dam has become a raging waterway. It's almost at record levels. The rain is forecast to ease, thankfully, tomorrow morning.
One person has been killed after a private jet owned by Motley Crue frontman Vince Neil crashed into another plane at an Arizona airport. Officials say the landing gear on Neil's jet failed just moments after it touched down on the runway. He wasn't on board, but his girlfriend was one of at least 3 passengers who were injured.
All right, it's time to see what else is making news around the world.
Israeli military is on alert tonight after Hamas suspended the next scheduled release of hostages. It claims Israel has violated the ceasefire deal. As mediators try to resolve the impasse, US President Donald Trump suggested ending the ceasefire altogether if the hostages aren't released by Saturday.
I would say cancel it and all bets are off and let hell break out.
Elon Musk is trying to get his hands on OpenAI, ChatGPT's parent company. He and a group of investors have made a bid of $97.4 billion. OpenAI's CEO, Sam Altman, who Musk has been feuding with for years, was quick to reject the bid, but offered to buy Twitter for a fraction of the amount. And as the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl celebrations roll on, it seems one Aussie tradition might have had its day. Jordan Mailata wasn't sure what his victory party would look like, but he knew it wouldn't involve his footy boots.
How are you going to celebrate?
Thank you.
I don't know. I have no idea. Should we? No, you're speeding. Absolutely. I do. I'll be honest. Not in these shoes.
Oh, his shoes are massive. He'll be off his head. A Jordan Mailata shoey is a very different shoey to a Steve Price shoey. You know what I mean? It's like a keg versus a shot. You know, it's.
Yeah, well, when Kylie Minogue did a shoey out of her high heel, I mean, it's teeny tiny.
Exactly.
Right?
It's spilling on out the edges.
Absolutely. Guys, let's go to Adelaide, huh? Rundle Mall. Trading hours are set to be extended. Now, this is huge news for South Australians. Let me tell you. South Australian Polly, Kaima Ma, was working with some Thornton-level estimation for what this will mean for visitor numbers.
Look, we will be seeing heaps and heaps of people in Adelaide. That's the most accurate I had, heaps and heaps. But that's a really big number. Yeah.
So it's a big number. Also, I would go stacks and stacks is good. And if you're unsure about a number, just say it's a smidge more than that. That's the Thornton way to get ahead.
More project after the break. Stay with us. Just when you thought living in Sydney couldn't get any exier, North Sydney Council's endorsed a rates increase of more than 87% over 2 years, leaving residents outraged. It'll see minimum residential rates in the area rise from $715 a year to more than $1,500 by mid-2026. North Sydney is among a series of councils across the Harbour City considering rate increases this year.
Order! I'm calling you to order. It's unconscionable.
This is complete overkill.
Get Elon Musk! It's an opportunistic cash grab and it is obscene.
Someone needs to get the boot.
You know it's bad when they're calling it Elon Musk. North Sydney councillor James Spenceley voted against the rate rise. He joins us now. James, we saw some pretty angry locals there. What is the feeling like in North Sydney today?
Well, I think that's right. It's anger. Council went out to consultation to the community, and then the community said 95% of the responses said they didn't want such an extreme rate rise. Yet the council's progressed with exactly that, an extreme rate rise of 87%. So there's a lot of anger in the community.
How would you suggest the council deal with all of the debt? Because there's clearly a huge problem in North Sydney. The mayor says this is the only responsible thing to do, because in the end, taxpayers will be, or ratepayers will be forced to pay it anyway.
There's probably some facts there that more than half the rate rise is actually discretionary. It's for future projects. It's for pet projects. It's for things into the future. Another 100 million of the 500 million rate rise goes to just putting money in the accounts to shore up the finances. So it's not just that we have to fix the sins of the past.
Hold on, there are some big issues. I don't think that's being denied, and the pool overspends enormous, $120 million. It was meant to be $30 million in the first place. So my question is, how do you deal with this if it's not raising rates? Because you've got to cover these huge debts somehow.
Yeah, we've got another $60 million to pay for the pool. We have access to government T-Corp debt, which is fixed interest loans from the government. So you're actually getting people to pay for the pool over 20 years rather than getting them to pay for it over 2 years. It's a bit like the Harbour Bridge. You know, if you were asked to pay for the Harbour Bridge out of your current taxes, it never would have been built.
Hey, James, I'll do it for $20 million if you want to take that to the council. Slight saving there.
At the end of the day, it's It's a hole in the ground. I'm not quite sure how it's got to 120 million, but there it is.
Sam's never done a hard day's work in his life.
Yeah,
Look at
but
those milky white, soft
I would
hands.
for 20 million.
Yeah, right.
The pool you build would be so leaky it wouldn't be funny.
Come on, well, the harbour's there, or if it goes tits up, jump in there, you'll be fine.
James, thanks very much for your time.
Pleasure. Thanks, guys.
These hands, come on, they're calloused from hard work with the pen here, you know?
You could take your high-vis vest and your boots from the mechanics.
See, it's all working out, isn't it? I'm a genius.
Sam, the working class man. Now, Hollywood superstar Liam Neeson, he is helping some film industry mates sell their Melbourne home. He's done a voiceover for the marketing video the real estate agent is using. Apparently, he did it as a thank you. His friends bring him fresh berries for brekkie while he's in town. The script is a playful tribute to Neeson's Taken franchise. Have a listen.
Liam, I didn't give you the address yet.
I told you I would find you.
Oh. Wow. So now you can look for a house on property listings or Schindler's listings.
God, that's good stuff.
I've got to say, I think, to be honest, as a production, I watched the whole thing.
Did you?
I thought Liam Neeson was very good. I think Ming let the team down, to be honest. I didn't believe him.
I'm hearing Oscar buzz. That's what my sources
Is that right?
I actually want to compete, though, with Liam Neeson for that house.
Yeah, I know. And let's imagine Liam Neeson just hanging out the front of your house. Or being all creepy.
But that's not going to make you're not going to buy the house just because Liam Neeson was involved. Like, if it's, do you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to buy it and then be
Well,
like,
if he was your neighbour, you would.
Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, that is a good point. I'm not a real estate agent, but I work with my hands. As we all know, that's where I do my best work in the ground. Maybe I could work and build the house, potentially. Or not, I don't know. Whatever, guys. Let's go to New South Wales, where today Health Minister Ryan Park launched both an app to help young people quit vaping and, I like this, a very convincing new impression of a supervillain.
And I say to Big Tobacco, if you underestimate me, you will underestimate me and Dr. Chant and Professor O'Brien at your peril.
Well, hear that, Big Tobacco? I'm sure you're quaking in your $1 trillion boots. Shaking? Quaking.
Quaking?
Quaking? I got that right?
Quaking?
Yeah, I don't know. Long day on the work site. Just absolutely struggling to back it up.
He's been on the tools all day.
Big days.
On the tools.
Crazy. It's the sun as well. It gets you, really.
Yeah.
I got to call the union.
Well, still ahead, he is a legend of Aussie comedy and one half of iconic duo Leno and Woodley. Pete's stage mate Colin Lane stops by the desk for a chat. See you soon.
Welcome back. Still ahead, he lost more than $1 billion worth of Bitcoin at the bottom of a tip. We speak to the man on a quest to find his lost fortune.
Holy heck. Right, it's time to get some more news now. And Sam Kerr's fate is tonight in the hands of a London jury. They've retired to consider a verdict in her racial harassment trial. Kerr's barrister conceded that Matilda Starr didn't cover herself in glory by the way she expressed herself after a drunken dispute with a taxi driver in 2023. But she also told the court that it's not the same as intending to harass someone or cause them distress.
The Big Four banks will be banned from closing branches in regional Australia for 2 more years under a deal done with the federal government. The agreement will also bolster services in the bush by increasing funding for Australia Post in-person banking operations in towns where branches have already closed.
If we want a strong national economy, then regional Australia needs to be a big part of the story, and that means making sure that banking services are available.
Aussie bakery and cafe chain Michelle's Patisserie is closing down. The brand is being retired and franchise owners will be offered the opportunity to convert to either Gloria Jeans or Donut King. The chain has been shuttered after several tough years of trade.
And cost of living pressures haven't dampened our romantic tendencies. While over 24% of Aussies plan to splash out on Valentine's Day this year, they're intending to go all out for love. A new survey shows they're tipped to spend an average $303 each.
$303 each?
Yeah.
300?
606 per couple, that means.
That's
Up
quick
50%
math, Amy.
on last year's figures. Starting out is the top Valentine's treat.
Too much money. You know, I love my girlfriend, but $300 like
What do you do? Flowers?
Just a solid conversation. I don't know.
You gave me a great tip. Don't you pick up the free flowers from the cemetery on the way home?
I do. Don't give that address away either. That's there for me this year. No, I will try to send flowers. That is what I'll do. But we're not big.
What do you mean try?
Well, you know, if it's a big job I've got here and, like, if you forget to put the call in...
It's a thought that counts.
And that's what I say to her, Pete, which she doesn't really hear. She's already walked away at that point. But,
Well, how do you stay married? Do you celebrate Valentine's Day?
No, well, my wife's birthday is today, actually. Happy birthday, Bridge. And so I can't back up 3 days later. There's no point kind of going flowers and
You're
then...
not even there now.
Well,
yeah, exactly. Wait, you chose to work on today?
Absolutely, I did. No, well, I buy flowers throughout the year as well. And I don't necessarily, believe in Valentine's Day, so...
Oh.
You don't believe in it?
I didn't know you could... Because I married a woman whose birthday is 3 days before it, so all the love goes into that day, and then 3 days later... I mean, it doesn't come back the other way, mind you. Where's my flowers?
Oh, OK. What about... You're a romantic, Haim, I know that. OK, all right. No?
Do you guys do anything?
Sam and I, or Jake and I?
That means you're spending $606.
Yeah, we do stuff.
Elaborate.
Very simple. Jake will often leave me a drawing.
A drawing?
A drawing. It's just on the... I don't know, like just a little...
Of
That's
you?
beautiful.
No, like of the two of us. I don't know. Like with a note.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, Jake likes doing a drawing. It's often there on the bed in the morning.
I
You
thought
draw
it
you
was
like a French girl? Anyway, I'm getting coal for Valentine's Day, so there you go.
Oh, don't worry, I'll get you something.
Oh, yeah, we're doing something this year for sure.
Now, you might imagine your retirement years would be an opportunity to take the pressure off and stop worrying about things like paying the rent. But for a growing number of Australians, paying rent is a burden that follows them well into retirement.
If you got a house, you're paying rent, then the minute you have to retire, that's when you can't afford to pay your rent.
67-year-old Deborah Basham retired from her job as a cleaner a year ago. Since then, paying her rent has been a constant struggle.
It's very difficult renting on the pension. You don't have the money. Once you pay your rent and everything out, you've got no money left to pay your bills. So therefore your bills get behind and you just struggle.
Money so tight, she sometimes goes without food in order to pay rent and bills.
I've got animals, I feed them first, and if I've got nothing left, then I go without. If I've got a slice of bread, I'll just have a slice of bread for tea. I've been even that low that I haven't even had a slice of bread.
Deborah isn't alone. A new report from the Grattan Institute revealing 2/3 of the more than 200,000 retired households who rent in Australia are living in poverty, an increasing number now at risk of homelessness.
Historically, most Australians have owned their own home in retirement, but fewer Australians are owning their own home as housing has become more expensive. At the same time, social housing stock hasn't kept pace with broader population growth, so there's just fewer social homes available for those that find themselves on hard times.
Those stats are even worse when it comes to women. Nearly 80% of those who are single, retired and renting live below the poverty line.
They don't accumulate the superannuation that men do due to raising children, and they often don't have the savings that, say, men have.
Now, there are calls for a short-term fix to lift older renters out of poverty. The Grattan Institute pushing for the government to raise rent assistance by 50% for singles and 40% for couples.
What that would mean is that retirees would be able to afford a pretty basic home in a major Australian city and also afford other essentials that they need in life.
Arguing if nothing is done, the future looks bleak for retirees like Deborah.
It's affected me really bad, just day-to-day worry. Where I'm going to end up, if I'm going to end up in a car, homeless. You worry every day.
Well, Cara Kennedy is one such struggling renter. She joins us now along with her friend Poppy. Cara, for those who haven't experienced this, can you just describe what it all feels like?
It's very daunting. It doesn't help mental health, which has never ever been as bad as what it is for me now. I just say, I never ever thought this would happen to me. let alone anybody else, but it's affecting a lot of people and a lot of women over the age of 50. You know, being a woman, you are robbing Peter to pay Paul to buy, you know, products that women need. It's depressing. It's depressing. It's put me in a bad place a lot of times, yeah.
I imagine for someone in your situation, when you go to the supermarket, there's a really clear list in your head of what you can buy and what you can't. What are the things you have to walk past that you'd like to be able to buy at the supermarket?
Being diabetic, I'm grappling to buy the food that I'm supposed to eat, apart from, you know, the food that may be a little bit cheaper, but I have to walk past. I buy the bottom of the barrel food virtually to keep it going, you know, and I've recently been in hospital because of my diabetes, lack of control, because I just can't eat properly. I don't go out. I don't do anything really. So, yeah, it's the first time in 12 years that I've actually celebrated Christmas with a friend and her family, who I only met recently, due to her coming to my home and finding me on the bathroom floor, half in a coma, because I hadn't eaten that day. So, yeah, it's horrible.
Cara, there's a push for the government to increase rent assistance payments. What would you like to say to them?
Please help us. We're dying, you know. There's only to say, if my rent goes up again, I will be homeless.
Cara, you've worked so hard all your life. You've paid your taxes. Are you angry at the way retirees are being treated in this country?
100%. Yeah. Yeah, I am. I'm so angry that it makes it really emotional for me, because I beat myself up thinking, okay, I've got a home at the moment, but then I think of others that haven't got a home at the moment at all, you know, or money for food or things. You just don't have any to scratch yourself left over.
Cara, we can hear how difficult it has been to share your story, but we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
You'd like to think that in Australia we could do a bit better than this.
I know. Yeah.
You know, statistically, this is not an isolated case. You don't often hear a voice like Cara's on the television. And that's part of the story. It's part of why we're kind of forgetting about this as an issue. The precariousness is so difficult for these people. And, you know, I think as a society, maybe we can do a bit better.
Absolutely.
You're watching The Project. Back with more in a moment. Project, welcome back.
Well, we've all done it. Chucked something important in the bin by mistake. Maybe it was your driver's licence, your grandma's ring, your whole wallet. Now, imagine the item you accidentally tossed is worth $1.2 billion. Oh. So how far would you go to get it back?
This is a mind-blowing story.
We're not going to be talking about hundreds of millions. We're going to be talking about billions.
I don't know what kind of shit you have to dig through. 11 tons of garbage sounds disgusting.
The man will go down in cryptocurrency legend.
But to be a billionaire, probably worth it.
This is the cautionary tale of 39-year-old James Howells, a former IT worker from Wales. 2009, James stored the keys to 8,000 Bitcoin on a computer hard drive. Then, in its infancy, the digital currency was practically worthless. In 2013, James claims his then-girlfriend threw the hard drive away by mistake.
Absolutely devastated, as you can imagine. I just wish I could go back in time.
The value of James's lost Bitcoin today, an estimated $1.2 billion. The Bitcoin treasure now believed buried beneath more than 1.4 million tonnes of waste in a rubbish tip in Wales. For more than a decade, James has been fighting for permission to dig through the dump.
It definitely is obsessed. He goes to the shop, it's the Bitcoin guy. It's taken over his life.
The local council knocking him back, citing environmental concerns. Last year, James attempted to sue the council for $1 billion or access to the site. His case, their refusal to let him excavate, has cost him his fortune. The judge disagreed. Now the tip is about to be shut down to make way for a solar farm. But James is not giving up yet. His plan? To buy the entire landfill so he can recover his lost treasure in a race against time and red tape.
Well, the Bitcoin hunter himself is with us now. James, this is an incredible story. Just say you actually buy the dump successfully. How do you plan about going around trying to find this hard drive?
Well, I mean, many people have described this as a needle in a haystack. Given the value of the needle, if you're willing to search every single piece of hay, eventually you will find the needle. We're going to utilize AI technology along with manual sorting techniques who have been tried and tested and proven in other landfill excavation projects. And we believe we've got a team together that can find the needle in the haystack.
OK, say if you find it, though. I mean, it's been festering there for, what, more than a decade? Will it even work?
Out of the box, no, obviously it won't. It's going to be rusted. There's going to be damage to the outside of the casing of the hard drive, but that's not what is important. What's important is the disk inside, or the platter, which stores the data. My data recovery guys are some of the best guys in the world. All we need to do is get a tiny fraction of data, a pinpoint of data from that entire disk. Which increases our data recovery chances tremendously. So we're pretty confident that we can recover that very small fraction of data if we were to recover the hard drive.
James, I love this. I left $2 in a shopping trolley about 3 years ago, and I've been working to try to get it back. I like this idea, buying the dump. That seems smart to me. What do you get a dump for these days? What does it cost?
Well, I mean, everybody seems to be getting ahead of themselves on that. Over the weekend, Newport City Council have announced that they will close the landfill to current operations. They haven't said that they would be willing to sell the landfill or under what terms. So let's take things one step at a time. I've still got a Court of Appeal case ongoing about the recent High Court case that was dismissed in early January. So I'd like to take that to its conclusion. But if Newport City Council were willing to sell the landfill site at some point, then yes, I would be looking to purchase that land and complete an excavation project and a remediation project.
James, would you feel any better if I told you that crypto doesn't contain any actual value?
Oh, Hamish.
Hamish, come on, mate, come on.
Now you're poking the bear.
Come on, Hamish. The man's in distress here.
He's a very tough guy when he's chatting to somebody on Zoom. Hamish.
I mean, it's easy for you to throw shade at crypto, but right now the Bank of England is currently going through its own sort of meltdown, if you will. It takes 8 weeks for a request to get gold out of the Bank of England. So it takes 10 minutes to send Bitcoin.
There you go.
James, we wish you all the best. We hope you find it.
Thank you very much.
There you go. All right, guys, this morning on the Today Show, Tim Davies found himself at a winery where it's fair to say, and we've all been there, the innuendo in this riff kind of got away from him.
These are from the Nicoletti orchards this morning, and the boys and girls from Ballandine State School diving into them. They are crispy, they are sweet, they are delicious. You know what's also delicious? Simon Bull, who's the director of Seventh Wines, where we are this morning. You're delicious, of course. But your little balls of joy, which you've given me this morning.
What a perfect excursion for kids. A winery and a testicle joke. What is going on?
Time for a break. More Project coming up.
Watching The Project. Welcome back.
It was double the trouble last night with actor Sigrid Thornton and reality star Tina Provis leaving the jungle together in a joint eviction. The camp is already a much more zen place.
Help me!
Oh wow, that went straight for you.
What was that? Oh, that was
It's like a butterfly.
No! What the f is that? Ah! Oh my God. It was coming for me.
Could you scream your lungs out for Sigrid and Tina?
Hello.
my God, what an
Queens.
entrance.
Wow, yeah, that's dramatic.
You guys were both pretty upset to leave camp. Why so upset? You know, there's a lot on the other side.
Oh, it's bittersweet because as soon as you speak to your family, you realise why you went in and why you came out. So it's all good. It's all about being grateful for the experience, and now we're going to wing our way home and be very happy to give everyone a great big hug.
It's
So
just devastating at first because it's your whole world. You're in there and you get a bit of FOMO, missing out on everything that's going on. Don't know why. I think we're all just a little bit sick. But as soon as you cross the tunnel, you're like, aircon's pretty good.
Yeah,
the
actually,
fridge is pretty good. How good's a bed?
Yeah, see you later. Yeah. No, not really. We love you all in camp.
I tell you what, though, Sigrid, you are not going to miss the Viper Room, right? You were surrounded by 170 snakes. You're a brave lady.
Yeah. Well, apparently I broke the world record for the Viper Room, and that is something I will always be proud of. I was thrilled by that. Yeah, I will not miss the Viper Room. I don't necessarily want to go there again, and I was so shocked that they put me in there because I was almost straight off the plane, and I told them, I'm claustrophobic, please don't put me underground. So
But you
what did
went
they
wrong.
do? Yeah, that was the first thing I did wrong. Yeah. Never tell.
Tina, I was very impressed with you. I saw the episode a couple of nights ago where you had to eat a rat's tail and some testicles. You've been dubbed the Scream Queen. I think it's okay screaming if you have to eat a rat's tail. What was worse, the rat's tail or the testicles?
Oh, it's kind of bring it all up for me now. It's making me feel away in my stomach. But I think the worst was honestly the rat, because when it first came out on a platter, I thought, oh my God, I'm eating a whole rat, because the whole rat was out, fur and all, head and all. And I honestly was thinking, how do I pick up this rat and where am I eating? Am I eating a rat's head? Thankfully, it's just the tail. Still really disgusting. I felt every single bone that crunched through my mouth. It got stuck in my retainer too for a couple of hours.
They were very big rat's testicles.
That rat was...
Well
yeah, they were blue. They were blue.
I don't think they were rats. Those weren't the testicles.
That was one big rat, man.
Wow.
That was the biggest
South
rat
Africa.
you've ever seen. There are some strange exotic animals in this country, but I don't think it runs that far.
I'm a Celeb continues tonight. Right after us on 10 and 10 Play, would you please thank the wonderful Sigrid and Tina.
Well, you've seen him in Fisk and Utopia and as one half of the beloved comedy duo Lano and Woodley. Now, master of stage and screen, Colin Lane has stepped into the world of Peter and the Starcatcher, where he's starring alongside our other favourite Pete. And he's here on the desk. Would you please welcome Colin Lane?
Hello. Hello all. Hello. Wow. Keep clapping and I won't have to say anything. It's amazing what noise you get from three people.
Have you two worked together before?
Pete and I, or the audience and I? Pete and I have probably known each other for 25, 30 years, but we haven't really hung out that much. So this is just a joy to be hanging out with him. It's like a new romance in a way. You know, we're talking movies, books, music, first kisses. I'm finding about all his famous mates from Taskmaster and Amazing Race and The Project and I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. But he's discreet. You know, as Mick Jagger used to say to me, never name drop, Cole.
My favourite, night one, we finished Canberra and there was some people at the stage door and they wanted us to sign and a lady said, I've got something, Colin, can you please sign it? And I was thinking, it's a Lano Woodley DVD or something from Fisk or Utopia. And she pulls out the Ready, Steady, Cook capsicum.
That's exactly right. Or a few nights ago in Sydney, the beautiful Capitol Theatre, and we went outside. There was probably 30 people waiting, and not one of them wanted to talk to Pete or I. Not one. You do that awkward kind of, OK, do you want a photo or not? And you start walking and you think somebody's going to go, oh, can you? And you just keep on walking and then you go, Oh, no, they had no interest. Because Olivia Deeble is in it. She's a massive star from Home and Away and stage and screen. She's got, 150,000 million Instagram followers. Alison White, who's a stalwart of Australian theatre. And so there's a lot more talented people in the show than Pete and I.
Well, you play Black Starch, I believe. Is that...
I play Dr. Spock. No, Doctor Who. Doctor Hook. Captain Cook. Captain Hook. But I play the guy that becomes Captain Hook. So yes, my name is Black Stash.
Right, and you have a mustache. I believe.
We finished in Sydney on Sunday.
Look at this.
There you go. Look at that.
Wow.
And what's that on my head?
Yeah.
No, I had some hair colour put into my hair, and I have been growing the moustache. And we finished in Sydney on Sunday night, and my wife hates it.
Yes.
The moustache, not the show. She loves the show, but yesterday I came home from Sydney, so I shaved it off quick smart to make her happy.
Are you going to grow it back for Brisbane?
What? Yeah. No, I am. We've got 3 or 4 weeks off, so I'll start growing it in the morning of the first show. I'm very hirsute, yes, which is unfortunately sounds a lot like hirsute.
I have to say, you are brilliant in this.
Oh.
You are. It's
and I'd love to say the same thing about you.
I'm going to get you in Brisbane. I'm going to come good in Brisbane for you, Cole. But he's amazing at it, and we love it when there's kids in the. It's not necessarily a kids show, but it's a family show, I think. And when there's kids, there's episode nights where we think we're about to lose control of the show.
Kids don't behave like adults. If you encourage them to speak or yell out, adults can kind of speak and yell, but they know that they can't do it forever, whereas kids don't know the rules of theatre, so they just keep on yelling out stuff, and when there's 20 or 100 of them, they can become quite an uncontrollable beast.
Yeah.
But it's great fun, and it's great to... It's fortunate that Pete and I have the opportunity to muck around with the audience, whereas the rest of the cast don't. So we have a lot of fun with that.
I mean, in the industry, obviously, Pete's known as very difficult to work with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
so I mean, how are you navigating?
Get to your point, Hamish.
I told you.
It is very different, and I'm going to segue without answering that question. It is very different to comedy because it's very, it's like proper theatre. Yeah. So when they say rehearsals start at 6, you got to be there at 6. You can't be there at 6:30. Or when I used to work with Frank, you'd say the rehearsal starts at 10, and then at 11:30 I'd ring him up and go, well, I'll be there about 1. But I was 2 minutes late to a rehearsal the other day, and I got a phone call from the stage manager saying, where are you? So it's very strict. So it's a very different discipline. And once that music comes in, it either means the show's finishing or my answer's not that interesting.
Could be a bit of both. Peter and the Starcatcher opens in Brisbane on March 14. I'll link the tickets on our website. In the meantime, would you please thank Colin Lane?
Thank you.